the decision came down to a couple things. Jeff Bittiger, who is our consultant, Bucky Burgow, who came in and filled in on first base and helped coaching stuff. They believe in this gentleman to the end of the earth. They'll go to bat for him, and both of them gave me permission to use their names. They're happy about it. But the one defining moment probably was our last home series. It was against Lincoln. I want to say it was the fourth game of the series. I had a veteran player come in, and he requested that we remove the interim tag on our manager because he said he deserves it. This guy he knows what he's doing. He's the future. And I said, well, he has to apply for the job first. So with that being said, I would like to introduce Michael Schlact as the second manager of the Fargo-Moorhead RedHawks. And we'll have Michael say a few words here, and then we'll open up for questions. Michael, welcome aboard.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. First and foremost, I want to thank the Thomes, Brad and Bruce, for this incredible opportunity. When I first got to Fargo in 2015 as the pitching coach, I knew right away that this town was different than any place I'd ever been. The fans that showed up to Newman Outdoor Field, the support that we saw from the media, from season ticket holders, from businesses. You walk around town and you feel like a major leaguer. It's incredible. And as I went through this process as pitching coach, as I began to meet everybody in the front office, I began to meet the people that were season ticket holders and really get to know the heart and soul of this town. I realized this is a special place to be. When the transition happened, it was a lot. It was a situation where the man that had hired me and the man that I have a lot of respect for was stepping aside, and I had to come in there and address the team and explain what was going on and that I was going to be taking over interim. And there was a lot of different emotions going on with that. But at the end of the day, baseball took precedence. We knew that we had a job to do, that we were in a hunt for the wild card in the division at that point, and it was an exciting time. I think the moment for me was in the last homestand this season when the energy at Newman Outdoor Field was incredible. The fans were there, they were into it. I heard from guys that had been in a RedHawks uniform before, and from the front office and from people that have been around, just how it felt like playoff baseball again. There was a sense of excitement, of anticipation, what could happen. I was reading things in the paper about the wild card race. We go to Winnipeg at the end there, and it was quite a series coming down to the final game. And the most exciting thing for us as a staff and us as an organization is looking forward to the future. We're excited about what's to come. We're excited about the culture change that's going to happen. We're excited about the people that are going to be involved in this. And we're definitely wanting to get back to, and we have a passion and desire to get back to playoff baseball and ultimately championship baseball here in Fargo. And I'm just blessed and thankful for this opportunity. I thank all of you for being here today for this. And go RedHawks.
Questions?
So he said you hadn't applied for it yet. Were you just busy, or were you thinking about it? I mean, what was the holdup?
I think the whole thing about not applying was really coming down to we were in a playoff race, and I was, along with the staff, we were devoting every second to how we could make the team better in that final stretch. And I wanted to make sure that the focus remained on the players. I wanted to make sure that the focus remained on the wild card race and the division race and playoffs and all of those things that come with RedHawks baseball before I worried about myself. That was ultimately why. And once that was over, the season ended, I said, okay, let's see what the next step is. So
a lot of times when you're taking over as a manager, it's because it was a really bad situation. Your time as interim, you guys were in a playoff race. It's a pretty good place to start. What did you learn from this experience and this last stretch here as an interim?
I learned a lot about leading people. I learned about what it takes to be a manager in professional baseball. And ultimately I learned about what it's like to show up every day and play for something. I think that was the coolest thing, to know every single day that we showed up to the park, whether it was here or on the road, we were watching those standings and we were watching what was happening around the league. We were watching everything, and every pitch, every out mattered. So there was a level, a sense of tenseness. There was some stress that went with it, but again, I wouldn't change I wouldn't change that for anything, because at the end of the day, you strive and you go for and you put everything into playing playoff baseball and winning championships. So that was a really good taste of that.
You mentioned you're excited about the cultural change. What specifically are you looking forward to? What's going on?
For me, a little bit of the baseball that you saw at the end, the small ball, the manufacturing, putting pressure on the defense, just the way that we think about baseball mentally, the ideas moving forward, such as how we're going to focus on our strengths, how we're going to stay positive, how we're going to be prepared going into every single series. These are things that have happened here for a very long time, but I think every time that there's a change, every time that somebody has a new voice, you're able to sort of put your own spin on that. And so I'm looking forward to being that. I'm looking forward to continuing the legacy that the RedHawks have in this town. And I think at the end of the day, I want guys to have fun, but play hard every single out.
Michael, Brad talked about a veteran player coming into the office and saying, take the interim tag off. I know that there was a game in the season where a pitcher came in and apologized to you personally for being late for the team bus at 4. He was 10 minutes late. I've never seen that before. And wanted to hear, talk about the relationship with the players, Michael, moving forward and how important it is to you.
That's very important to me. And being a player before, I've played both affiliated ball with the Rangers and independent ball in this league. I recognize the ins and outs of it. I recognize how hard it is. I recognize that in a lot of cases players are here because they're trying to get back to Major League Baseball, or they've been removed from Major League Baseball. A lot of people have different things going on in their life, and I've always prided myself and I've always had a passion for helping people and leading people, and so that's a big part of this for me. Recognizing that everybody's different, everybody has a story, everybody has a background, but it doesn't matter. When you're wearing that Red Hawk uniform, we're all a big team. And so if that means on the field help, I'm there. If that means off the field help, I want to be there. And so that's part of that cultural change as well for me. That's something I want to make sure that happens as long as I have this uniform on, is that guys know that I'm going to lead them on the field, but I'm also going to be there for them off if anything happens or they need my assistance in any way.
Michael, was this always the goal after the baseball playing career was done, to be a field manager? And now that it's reality, what's going through your mind?
I mean, first and foremost, I feel very blessed and thankful for this opportunity. I didn't know right away, as a player, I wanted to be a major leaguer. I set every day, my goal set every day was to be in the big leagues, and I had a couple injuries and things that didn't allow that to happen. So when I decided to get into coaching, I was sort of pushed in a little bit by, there's another manager in this league, Bobby Brown. I was playing for him in Amarillo in 2014, and I had gone into his office to retire. I physically couldn't do it anymore, and he said, why don't you hang around for a month? Why don't you just see if you like maybe the coaching side of it? You communicate well with players, you've shown some interest in that, and I did, and this passion was ignited instantly for that. And that was a year before I got the pitching coach job here. And so when I started out, I didn't have that desire to coach because I had that one-track mind of becoming a major leaguer. The coolest thing about everything is going through injuries, being released. A lot of the different things that happen, good and bad, in the game of baseball have happened to me throughout my career. And now I'm able to help guys with that. I'm able to when you have to unfortunately release somebody, there's a little bit more sense of empathy with that. When you have to have a tough conversation with somebody, there's a good chance that something like that has happened to me before, and I'm able to help them through that. And even the good things, Tyler Alexander won Pitcher of the Year. I never won Pitcher of the Year, but being able to talk to a guy like that about what that success means, how to fully embrace that and stay humble through the process has been really cool for me. So a lot of those different things I'm excited for.
You have an idea who your pitching coach might be now?
We're going to talk about all of that. I did it at the end of this through that, and I felt like it worked out real well. And again, as we move forward here over the next couple weeks and months, we'll begin to talk about staff and what the thought process is in that way.
Have the guys found out yet? Did they already know?
No.
No.
I guess this is sort of the indication that that's what's happening.
Okay.
Nobody said anything, the press release has gone out, but other than that, the guys don't know.
All right.
So they just knew that, I was the interim guy at the end of the year.
With American Association Ball, trying to re-sign players year in, year out, trying to scout players like that. I mean, this is a little relatively new to you. What challenge does that present?
It's new, but it's something that I've been able to have a hand in a little bit as I've been the pitching coach. And the fact that I know guys around the league and managers around the league, and I've been able to watch and see how they've gone about it is good. But at the end of the day, everybody has their own idea about how it's going to work. But this is a full-time job. You're only on site playing games for the 4-month span, but it really is a 12-month round-the-clock job trying to find guys, go through the scouting reports. And that's where Jeff Bittiger is going to be a big help. He's player personnel. He's the player personnel consultant. He's somebody that I really value his opinion on players. And as we move forward and we begin to look at what this offseason is going to bring, that's definitely going to be somebody that I'm going to lean on. But, just like anything you start, any type of new job in any area of life, there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. But the biggest thing for me is going to be just doing it the best that I can, learning. Everybody's going to make mistakes at some point, and you learn from those rather than dwell on them. And so I'm looking forward to the process of that. I'm looking forward to going through an off season and putting the best possible players on the field next year and every year beyond that.
Michael, you've kind of adopted Fargo-Moorhead. People here love familiar faces, and you'll become now more of a familiar face. But your wife Jillian, your son Sawyer, and future children you may have coming up, you guys have made Fargo and Moorhead a second home, have you not, from Georgia, the original?
Yeah, obviously we live here when we're here for the season, but the thing that stood out immediately is the passion that the people have, both for the RedHawks and for life, and just the joy that they have every single day. It's somewhere that we love coming. We love spending our summers here. My son has parks, and my wife is able to go places. We feel safe. You have this sense that everybody is on your side, and everybody really cares about you deeply, and that's been really the coolest thing about it. So to have this opportunity to wear this RedHawks uniform and to come to a place like this and live in a place like this is a dream come true.